Dragon Ball Super has been getting breadcrumbs when it comes to Dragon Ball figures. We've gotten an occasional release here and there, but nothing's really been consistent. Especially in Ichiban Kuji, you know what I'm saying? Today, we're going to be reviewing the new Matchmaker's Super Saiyan God Son Goku versus Beerus while determining whether or not they're worth picking up and buying at full price. And let's also hope if this spells the future for future Dragon Ball Super releases. We do Dragon Ball figures reviews, news, and more here on the channel, so if you don't want to miss out on the hottest releases, make sure you subscribe. Today's figures are part of the Matchmaker's line of figures from Banpresto. They're smaller budget figures of two characters replicating an iconic battle from Dragon Ball. Recently, it seems like Team Ichigan has been sculpting all or most of the Matchmaker's releases, but these two have not had their sculptors publicly revealed. These figures released on June 12, 2025 in Japan and will have overseas releases. The front of both figures' boxes have their respective character in a close-up shot with expert camera lighting and various logos. The side of their boxes have a black and white shot of their figures. The back of their boxes have the face-off happening between both of their figures' perspectives. The other side of the box has a full body shot of the figure on a white background. And of course, the top of the box has more logos and the Toei animation sticker, which is the figure sticker of authenticity. There's no surprise that when taking them out of the box, you're going to find them protected in a cardboard shell and each piece of their figures are in a plastic bag. Goku comes in 3 pieces with his figure being completely whole and his support plus his base to stand him up. And Goku's Bandai stamp is right here if you need to further authenticate him. Beerus comes in 5 different pieces, being his tail, upper body, lower body, support, and base. And of course, here is the God of Destruction's Bandai stamp. It's right here for you. So let's break down these figures individually as a pair and then do some comparisons before giving our final thoughts. It's always great to see a Goku God figure. Bandai barely made any God Goku figures with only 38 officially licensed figures being created. I know Super Saiyan Blue and Ultra Instinct were the new hotness shortly after God was revealed, but come on. That never stopped Bandai from pushing older forms before. All this is to say that I'm happy to see a new God Goku figure. Goku's likeness is pretty good. While I love the accurate depiction of the character with his rounded eyes and expression, I do wish there were more details added to his face. You can see the line work has been lightly sculpted around his features, but they aren't that noticeable without any painting or shading to accentuate them. I do like Goku's glossy hair though. I think God is one of the only forms that can get away with this look without it looking off. I do prefer traditional matte painting, but this is still pretty good. I also think that this is a first for the Matchmaker series since the very first Super Saiyan Goku release. While I think Goku's sculpt and gi look well done, I do feel like the figure just looks a bit plain. I'm not sure if that's because it's emulating the DBS anime or just a budgetary constraint. Goku's size is also a point of contention with many collectors. He's pretty small overall, but I'd still say he's about the average size of Matchmaker's Goku figures. Moving over to Beerus, I think he's pretty good. Like God Goku, Beerus barely got any high quality figures made of him. With his popularity, I find that incredibly shocking and a total failure from Bandai. He's only had 35 figures made of him, and his Master Leaves was even somewhat of a disappointment for me. I'm hoping this figure is the start of them righting that wrong. Beerus's face is pretty accurate. I think his features look very close to the anime, however, I did notice some sloppy paint applied to his eyes. You can see some of the yellow spilling over on one eye, and some of the black and the bolding spilling into the yellow of the other eye. It's only really noticeable when you're looking extremely close, but it's still a small detail that should have been cleaned up. The overall build and pose for Beerus is awesome. I felt that some of his figures, they get their proportions incorrect, so I'm glad that they made him slim, but still with good musculature depicted. I love the paint job on the figure and appreciate the gold-coated jewelry on his body, but again, it's still somewhat sloppy when you take a close look. I do still love how well his colors pop, and he scales really well alongside Goku. These are definitely a pair of figures you're going to want to get together. With how scarce a God Goku and Beerus figure is nowadays, I don't see a reason to not get them together. Plus, their poses were made for each other, even though Beerus isn't completely aligned to punch into Goku's hand. I did find a fix for that by having Beerus placed on top of my Matchmaker's Gogeta, but it's definitely not ideal. While some have complained that these figures are a bit smaller than expected, I'm not sure why that was the expectation. Nearly all Matchmaker's figures have been smaller figures for quite some time, pretty much their entire lifetime. I think these figures pair really well with other Matchmaker's figures. They definitely don't scale with their Master League counterparts, well, in Goku's case, a Masterly's equivalent form, but that's not their intention anyways. They can work as accenting pieces for a larger, more premium display, or they work as a good fit for a matchmaker's collection. Now, if you're looking to buy these figures, then I recommend using today's sponsor, Jump Ichiban. So many services out there have cumbersome websites, extremely complicated ways of going about of buying and shipping a figure, and then the extremely long wait times that you have for the figure to actually show up to your doorstep after you bought it. Jump Ichiban is my most trusted place to buy Dragon Ball figures, as they get the latest and greatest figures in their website in no time. They even get non-figure related merch like the new manga booster boxes from Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, the Dragon Ball poster collection that just released in Japan, and hey, how about that comfy looking Frieza spaceship plush? All of their products are ordered straight from Japan and will show up to your doorstep within a week of ordering. So go ahead and check out their site using my discount code MatchesPeaches10 for 10% off of your first order of 2 or more items, or you can use my other code MatchesPeaches5 to get 5% off of any order at any quantity. So, are the Matchmakers God Goku and Beerus worth buying at full price? While they're not perfect, I do think that they overall look pretty solid. The Matchmaker series has grown a ton. There are a ton of different matchups, and this is one of our only DBS matchups, so I think that they're a very unique addition to your growing Matchmakers collection. Plus, I do think if we want to see more Dragon Ball Super figures from Bandai in the future, we need to send a message to them by getting these guys and showing that we have a high interest in more Dragon Ball Super figures. So let's hope that that works out. Those are my thoughts, guys. Thanks again for watching today's video. Like, subscribe, do all the things that YouTubers beg you to do on the internet. But if you did enjoy the video, I really do appreciate your support. Of course, go to our Discord server. We have a link down in the description below. Free to entry. We have a buy-sell trade channel on there. We have Ichiban Kuji price tracker. And we have been building awesome relationships and growing this community. So highly recommend doing that. If you want to support the channel even further beyond, become a YouTube member. You'll get early access to videos. You'll get featured here in the credits. And I am open to recommendations on new perks and stuff for YouTube members. So that way it's a little more enticing and you guys get the benefit, the full benefit of your support. But yeah, I think that's really all I got for you guys today. So until the next video, I'll see you all later.